Man United versus Newcastle, fourth round of the FA Cup, and everything is all out. The lineups are out for both teams, and we're here to obviously give you what we call the match day live. Welcome to the United Matters channel. Hope you guys are really doing okay, and you're really getting the best that you deserve to be getting. Sorry about that. Hope you're really getting the best out of your works, and we thank God for the gift of life. It's really a game that comes in through at a very crucial time of the season for Man United, with Erik ten Hag being a manager that is under pressure, all accumulating pressure, and people are demanding for more results from him. And today we really have to deliver. Ten Hag has to deliver, and we are here to see to it that lots of players have gone ahead to be dropped and others have gone ahead to return into the starting 11 of Manchester United. And let's see who Erik ten Hag has gone ahead to go in for to start into the game. Andre Onana, Lindelof, Harry Maguire, Mason Mount, Anton Martial, Sergio Reguilon, Garnacho, Casemiro, who is the captain of the day, Diego Dalot, Anthony, and Hannibal. That is the starting 11 of Manchester United. When we go to the bench, we are having Ben Dayer, we are having Evans, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Amrabat, Bruno Fernandez, Eriksson, Scott McTominay, Højlund, and Marcus Rashford. That is the starting 11 for the club of Manchester United. And you've seen the bench is also really fat. If you have to talk about the changes that is going to hate to make, we're obviously going to talk about them when we go into the system. But people are really yearning to know, what is Newcastle having onto their table on the night? Dubravka, formerly on loan at Man United, you know that very well. Livramento, Kraft, Dumet, Target, Hull, Longstaff, Willock, Richie, Joelinton, and Anthony Gordon. That is the starting 11 of Newcastle. And it's sure they're going to hate to rest very many players because he's thinking about the game they're going to play against Arsenal. So they're having Karius as the other goalkeeper. Then Trippier, Les Cheles, Callum Wilson, Almiron, Ban, Bruno Guimaraes, Diallo, and Parkinson. So they're really looking shite. When you look at their 11, they're really looking shite, and we all understand that it's going to affect them very much as a team of Newcastle, because they're having very many injuries. Sandro Tonali suspended, and they had to obviously try to really bring in a second string side that I believe we United have to go ahead and obviously beat, because this team of United is really a better team than that of Newcastle. Now, let's go to the system. 4-2-3-1. Andre Onana is in goal. Diego Dalot is playing as the right back of Man United. He's going to be facing Anthony Gordon. Then Sergio Reguilon gets a full start into his game of Man United. Remember, in the game of Man City, Ten Hag had a doubt of his fitness alongside Rafael Varane, and that's why Varane never played a minute into that game of football. And even today, he is really one of those that are not going to hate to start into this game. But Reguilon starts, and obviously Erik ten Hag obviously knows how to pick his moments. You know, against Manchester City, you know, however much we really had to risk players, but how would you risk your players for just one game? That is a marathon, because for the season you can easily add up that. But right now, you find it hard to play a team like Newcastle, play a team like Fulham, Copenhagen, without Sergio Reguilon, you know, a left back. But the good news is that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is back. We are going to discuss about that more and more in the coming minutes. Then Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire in the central defense. I think I predicted that. Hannibal, Mejabri, and Casemiro in the double pivots. Remember, they played some good games together. One of Crystal Palace, the first one we played into the Carabao Cup. They played the double pivot together. And that of Burnley, Sergio Reguilon, Kai Havertz came in through and obviously featured prominently. Hannibal Mejabri came in through and featured prominently into that beautiful game. Then Anthony, right attacking midfielder. he really has a lot to prove. And if Fernandez cannot prove alongside this squad that is really depleted of Newcastle, then I don't know when he'll obviously prove himself right to the fans of Man United. Then Garnacho, left attacking midfielder. This is what we've all been calling in for, that we need to see Alejandro Garnacho start games more regularly, because by doing so, he'll obviously find himself in a better position as a player to obviously build his confidence. In games where Marcus Rashford is struggling, trust me, we need to see to it that the manager balances it up and obviously benches Marcus Rashford and starts Garnacho. And we want to see how Marcus Rashford reacts when he's coming off the bench. Aren't you guys eager to see how he reacts when he's coming off the bench? You know? Let's wait and see how that really pans out. But I really believe it's going to be working well into the favor of the club of Manchester United. Then Mason Mount is playing as a central attacking midfielder. Obviously, we anticipate him to play there, and I would love to see what he has and how good he is, whether he's becoming more better or he's really becoming a stagnant player at the club of Manchester United, because we need to see him put up efforts after efforts as a player to obviously come good. Because for a player who was signed for £60 million and the manager decides not to obviously play you in certain games, then that shows you how you really are really lacking in what he really wants. Who is leading the line? It's Anton Martial who is leading the line. And for this, I'm going to throw a jab to Erik ten Hag. And what jab is that going to be? That jab is obviously going to be all about Rasmus Højlund versus Anton Martial. I love Rasmus Højlund. That is it. No doubt. I love the player and I always want to see him really thrive. But he's playing well, but he's not scoring goals. That is it. So sometimes it's better in the games of the Champions League and the Premier League to bench him and get him off the bench to come in through and play, because he will get to know that he's required to score goals. Because like in the game of Sheffield, I think he had 3 chances and didn't score. In the game of Man City, I think he had 1 chance and didn't score it, you know. So he deserves to be doing better. And I think if we are to really raise up our case into this scenario, all we have to see is Anton Martial scoring like 1 or 2 goals today. If he scores 1 or 2 goals today, obviously the manager will be on pressure and they will be asking him, how come Martial is scoring in goals when you give him a chance and you are not obviously getting in the player onto the field of play? Yet Rasmus Højlund is not scoring. Because it's not that we love Rasmus Højlund and we should be really very, 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 very one-sided. We want to obviously see this team of Man United become better and better and better, and obviously get us to where we want to be. And how can we get better and better? By criticizing every player who is not performing. As I criticize Rashford, Bruno Fernandez, Anthony, that's how I'm going to criticize Rasmus Højlund. Because for any number 9, what counts are your goals. That is it. So we need to see him really putting those balls at the back of the net more consistently, and that is none other than Rasmus Højlund. So that is the starting 11 of Man United, and when you look at the team, he has gone ahead to bring in Reguilón, Casemiro, Hannibal, Anthony, Mount, Garnacho, and Anton Martial. 7 players that never started the game of Man City have gone ahead to obviously start, and that shows you that we've gone ahead to make some huge changes, and it's all about United coming in through with the starting 11 that has really gotten to the heads of many. So good to rest other players, because you're going to play Fulham away from home. It's a lunchtime game, so we need to obviously be charged up for that fixture. Now let's go to the team of Newcastle. Very weak side, you know, and it shows you where his focus is. So when you look at Newcastle, they're having Dubravka in goal. Livramento is going to be facing Garnacho, and I think that can easily work out well for the side of Garnacho. Target, left back, then Dumet and Kreft in the central defense. I've never even seen them play, so I think Martial has to really use this as an advantage to go past this. Longstaff, Joelinton in the midfield, Willock and Hull. Then Gordon and Richie. That is the system of 4-4-2 being brought in by the manager of Newcastle. Newcastle is currently at its weakest. That is it. We are not lying. They are currently at their weakest, and this is where I would love to come in through and obviously beat them hands down. That is it. You have to beat them hands down. See to it that you take them down. That team of United is supposed to beat Newcastle. That is it. Newcastle without Ishak, Newcastle without Willock, Newcastle without Sandro Tinali, Newcastle without Huffy Bands. You obviously understand that they are really a weak team. That is it. So that is the starting 11 of Newcastle, and I think we have everything that it takes, all what it takes to obviously cause havoc and really bring them down and knock them out at Old Trafford. Remember, we are having Arsenal still in. They are playing with West Ham. West Ham is leading by 1-0. Then which other team? Liverpool is playing. Chelsea is playing. So if those three teams go through, then the draw is obviously going to be very interesting tonight to see who United will be facing onto the quarterfinals, because we are into the round of 16 and we are heading to the round of 8. But Arsenal is obviously off. You know, Arsenal, Ben White has gone ahead to net in his own goal. That is it for him. So we wait and see how that pans out. But Chelsea is still 0-0. Bournemouth, Liverpool 0-0. Everton 0-0 with Burnley. Ipswich with Fulham 0-0. And that of United is starting in the next 24 minutes from now. That is it. So let's go onto the bench of Man United and see how we've gone ahead to feature. The most exciting one of all is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has featured into the bench of Manchester United. Eric Ten Hag told us that he trained very well, and it's good to see to it that this man is really back. Now, what's the importance? What's the role of having Aaron Wan-Bissaka back? 1, we have a backup for Diego Dalot. 2, Diego Dalot is obviously going to rest because he has been playing very many games, and I anticipate that in this game, Eric Ten Hag is going to get some minutes to Aaron Wan-Bissaka to play. You know, Sergio Reguilon might not play 90 minutes. Ten Hag will take him off, and Dalot will play as the left back, and Bissaka will play the remaining minutes as a right back. That is another advantage that we are obviously going to balance up our players. The reason as to why you saw to it that we've been getting very many injuries in the central defense is that we've not gone ahead to be having our central defenders back. Few have returned, and those few have not been rotated very, especially those that play onto the fullbacks. So having this one back will be great, and when Tyrell Malacia returns back after the international break around 24th, 25th, it will be all done. You know that Dalot will be competing with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and Malacia will be competing with Sergio Reguilon. That is it. So that's how we need to wait and see how things really pan out for the club of Man United, and that's the third reason. That's the second reason. The third one is, when you're having these players back, it helps United to obviously balance up, you know, and in games like those of Copenhagen, where Eric Ten Hag will obviously want to be more defensive and keep a watertight place and keep his defense watertight, to see to it that they don't really go past us, as we're going to play a high line, but it's that one that's very defensive. You can play Aaron Wan-Bissaka. In the game of West Ham, you can obviously start Aaron Wan-Bissaka depending on how he plays today. So that's the beauty of him returning, and that's great. And we are soon getting to having these players back, because Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia are also expected to return after the international break. Not forgetting Amad Diallo. So after the international break, we are obviously going to be having a good squad that can obviously take on any team and can see us obviously take on the opponents to where they deserve to be and obviously be thrown under. So that is it, the team of Man United, but keep an eye on Alejandro Garnacho tonight. this is the day for him to obviously show up. Mason Mount has a chance to come in through and obviously show us exactly what he needs to obviously take this team of United like. He really has a chance, and the last time he played, he really created an assist for the goal that Casemiro scored that came in from a corner. That is it. So we have to wait more and more and more and more and see how that is going to benefit us into the mix. Now, with Eric Ten Hag on selecting Casemiro as captain, he says he always shows his leadership in training, and every match he's the perfect choice to wear the armband. Now, if you've been watching how this armband has been really rotating, it shows you that the number one captain of Man United is none other than Bruno Fernandez. Rafael Varane is the second or the first vice. Then Casemiro is the third vice. That is it. So those are the three captains of Man United, for those who have been really asking how it's obviously lining up today. Then Asimwe Prada, tough game. Greet me, Charles. All right, Charles, thank you very much for watching it through. How are you? I've gone ahead to send your greetings to you. Emma Okello, is Ten Hag still at United? What a wonderful loss again. Now, for everyone who really thinks that Ten Hag is a problem at Man United, I've gone ahead to explain to you why this man isn't. Now, I want you to look at these examples. Man City was missing out on Kevin De Bruyne and Rodri. They went ahead to lose out on 3 games against Newcastle, against Wolves, and against Arsenal. When Rodri came back, they went back to winning ways, right? Now, if Man City, who have lots of world-class players, can we look like that and struggle and lose games? What of Manchester United, who have obviously not had a chance of really having Luke Shaw, Lisandro Martinez, Tyrell Malacia, Bissaka has been out, Varane is on and off, Casemiro has been injured, Now, those are some of the players that have gone ahead to obviously take United to where it was last season. And let no one lie to you that we didn't build our season on a watertight defense. Our season was built onto a watertight defense for the entirety of last season. And if at all there is anyone who is really lying at you, then he needs to obviously check his statistics right. Now, Ten Hag should be judged when his squad is back. He should be judged when his squad is back. And I don't really want to say I'm saying Eric Ten Hag out. Why should he why should he go out? Last season, we played 10 games. Let me read to you those 10 games that we first played last season and how we went ahead to fare into that season. The first 2 games, we lost them to Brighton and Brentford. You remember very well. Now, I want to count how many points we had into our first 10 games last season. So, we started with Brighton. It beat us by 2 goals. That was a loss. Brentford beat us. Liverpool, 1 win. Southampton, 2 wins. Leicester City, 3 wins. Arsenal, 4 wins. Then Man City, that was a loss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Man City was the 7th game and we only had 4 wins. Then we went ahead to draw 0-0 with Newcastle, taking our points to our tally to 13. That was the 8th game. And our 9th game of the season, we are playing against Tottenham Hotspur. We beat them by 2-0. Those were 16 points. And our 17th game, we drew with Chelsea 1-1. Those were 17 points. Now, last season, in our first 10 games, we had 17 points. And this season, we are having 15 points in the first 10 games. Now, the difference is 2 points. This is what people don't get. So, and Ten Hag almost had all his players available last season when you're playing in the first third of the season before we went to the World Cup. So, If you never called out for Erik ten Hag to leave in his first season when he had 17 points in 10 games, why are you calling him out, this time round, this season, when in his first 10 games, he has gone ahead to gather 15 points, 2 points less from what he gathered last season. So I don't really understand the scenario that people are really trading around about Erik ten Hag, that he should be sacked. So before Erik ten Hag gets out here, the Glazers are the first ones to leave. They should be the first one to leave this club, not this guy. That is it. He shouldn't be really being at the club of Man United. He should leave at first. So Ten Hag on his starting 11, we have a good group, so we can take choices. We field a good team, and we must progress to the next round. That is it. So Ten Hag wants to progress to the next round. I was going to hate to say they've going to hate to build a very good team that can see them really thrive into the next round and knock this team out. And I think our team can easily really get us a win. That is it. No doubt. And all you have to do is to obviously kill off our chances, keep it watertight. The team to make fewest mistakes will obviously become the winner. Then on Bruno Fernandez and Rashford, are they rested? He said, I don't know if it's really necessary because they're in good shape, but it's to keep them fresh and also to give an opportunity to other players because they are performing at every training session. Now, for Erik ten Hag, he needs to really understand that Bruno Fernandes and Rashford, before they obviously start doing what we call team play, we might be really losing more games. That is it. That's why we believe that sometimes Eriksen should be played as a number 10 and Bruno should be rested, even in the Premier League or Champions League games. Rashford should see Garnacho play ahead of him. That is it. And those are things we want to see him implement at the club of Manchester United. And we are here to obviously evidence whether he's obviously going to do that in the next games. If a player really goes ahead to obviously feature very well into this game. Now, and what else do we have to talk about here onto this channel, as you guys are really eagerly waiting to see whether we get it going. And Varane is not in the Man United squad tonight after being benched versus Manchester City, so we don't know exactly what the problem is for Rafael Varane, and he's really struggling with injuries. And when someone calls out, that Erik ten Hag should be sacked, why don't you first talk about the Glazers, who have gone ahead to cost us on several occasions and see us into this situation? Because Erik ten Hag wouldn't have found himself in this situation, if at all they really sold Harry Maguire and got in another central defender like Todibo, or Kim Min-jae, or Disasi. That is it. He needed a player to play into that central defense, but he kept Evans, which is not wrong to keep him. But the problem, what makes that transfer wrong, is the board not getting him what he wants. So, before you say all what you're saying, has the manager been given what he wants? If he says, I don't want Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire at this club, and you keep them here, are you backing the manager, or you are making his job hard? I think you are just making his job hard as a manager of Manchester United. So Erik ten Hag, for me, he deserves to be here. He's going nowhere. And for those that think he's going anywhere, you are really shy, because a report has been produced to sack him. 15 million pounds are needed. Where are they going to get the money? The answer is no. You get? The answer is that they don't have that money to pay him. And Ten Hag is here on merit. He's going to be the first Manchester United manager to click 50 wins in the shortest period of time possible. And people are here slating him. He doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve to be slated. All he deserves is respect, backing him up, and not allowing us to do the same mistake. Because these are things we've been doing for a very long time. Sack a manager, sack a manager, sack a manager. But teams that have gone ahead to stand with their managers in times of danger, in times of mourning, they've gone ahead to obviously thrive. For example, look at Arsenal. Mikel Arteta finished 8th in his first season. He went ahead to finish 8th in his second season. In the at the third season, he finished fifth, and then last season he finished second. So, do you know why that happened? They gave him time to obviously build the team. If you want Erik ten Hag to turn things around at Man United, that playing staff should obviously be cleared out, and then he should build his own team. Like you see Mikel Arteta, the players he found at Arsenal, he now has only William Saliba, Bukayo Saka, Nketiah, and Gabriel Martinelli. The rest are players he brought in by himself. That's what we should replicate. That's already a painting that has been already shaded by Arsenal, and we should look at it. And from way back, before I even started doing YouTube, I used to tell people that we've gone ahead to make a very bad mistake to get rid of Louis van Gaal and get in Jose Mourinho. Why? Louis van Gaal, when he came in at Man United, he told the board, I want 3 years. Demand me a trophy of the Premier League or the Champions League in my third year, but these 2 years I'm going to build. Now, because these people at the top of Man United at the helm were really green about the game of football, they thought that him winning an FA Cup and not qualifying for the Champions League, he deserved to be sacked, and they sacked him. But when they brought in Jose Mourinho, we never even finished in the top 5. But Jose Mourinho won the UEFA Europa League and went to the Champions League. And that showed you that their main aim was to see to it that we qualify for the Champions League. And what does Champions League mean? It means money. When you qualify for the Champions League, you get close to 50-60 million pounds added onto your annual budget. That's what they're all about. So I don't want to see anyone come out and really flaunt lies here. I think we deserve better as a team of Man United. We deserve better. And these are mistakes that we've been doing for a very long time. And it's only a fool who does the same things expecting different results. Manchester United have been doing the same thing, sacking a manager. But have they asked themselves that, why don't we allow this manager to really be here for 4 seasons? After 4 seasons, if at all he fails, we will say that he has gone ahead to fail. You know, even Liverpool has gone ahead to do better in really keeping managers at the job. Look at managers like Kenny Dalglish. Look at Gerard Houllier. Look at Rafa Benitez. Look at Brandon Rodgers. You know, these managers have been at the club for like 4 seasons, and that's when you'd say the man has gone ahead to fail to obviously replicate what he wants, because you'll be in those 4 seasons, you would have gone ahead to have 4 summer transfer windows and 4 January transfer windows, meaning that you can easily know which player don't need at the club and which player I need. Look at Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. Did he even perform close to how Erik ten Hag performed in his first season? Do you know how many seasons it took Jurgen Klopp to obviously stabilize at Liverpool? You know? So every manager needs time. That's what you should know. And you shouldn't hurry up things. The more you hurry up things, the more you are obviously going to really cause us danger as this team. We are not going to build something that is obviously going to take us where we deserve to be. The problem of United is not Erik ten Hag. The problem is at the top. It's at the top. If you cannot have a director of football who can easily attract stars at your club and convince them to come, then you are not good enough. The technical director, do you know who the technical director of Man United is? It's Darren Fletcher. And if I ask you, where has he ever gone ahead to do that job? You have no answer for it, not so? Then we go to the CEO. He has never managed any team of football. So the problem is not sacking Ole Gunnar. The problem is not sacking Ten Hag, because he has shown us that he can pull out miracles and he can obviously compete favorably if at all he's having his bosses doing what he expects them to do. So I don't want to see you people say Ten Hag should be sacked. Why should you sack him? Even if he loses the next 5 games, I cannot sack him because the problem is at the board. Now, so after ending this poll, we are having 20% 21% are calling in for Newcastle win, and 78% are calling in for a Man United win, and 1% don't have an answer for this. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. I'm going to return with the match day live, with the match reaction after this game of football, but trust me, we are knocking Newcastle out. If we can't knock out this weak team of Newcastle out today, then it's obviously going to pile more pressure onto the manager of Man United, and it's obviously going to give journalists who really went ahead to pull out stories that Erik ten Hag is under pressure, they want to sack him, you get, which is wrong, and we want this win badly. At Old Trafford, the game is starting in the next 5 minutes, and I think you guys are really ready to get this going. May the living to God bless you abundantly. Rokan David remains my name. A sign out for now. See you later. The Muslims Barakallahu Fikum. And after the game, I'm going to be live onto this channel. Arsenal is trailing by 1-0 against West Ham at the London Stadium. But they're really having some good bench. Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, Martin Odegaard, all on the bench, ready to come in through and change.